2-1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Okay, lots to cover as always, but today hopefully a little less than some days. I hope so. Okay, first, this is a really fun one. I ran across this one on The Hustle, I think it is, and it explains how these megastars make any money with millions of followers on Twitter, etc. And for some reason, Periscope is still not behaving, but I know it's frozen. But I know I'm still out there transmitting. At least I think so. So if you want to send hearts, that'd be great, because it's like, anyway. So here's Kylie Jenner. Okay, we'll highlight her, Kylie Jenner. And I don't follow Kylie Jenner on Twitter. I only brought it up because of this interesting article. But she's on Twitter, and so she put up a video. And believe it or not, I have the video for you. So here we go. Let's go over here to Windows Capture, and I've retooled my system so that I can do stuff with it, which is kind of cool. It's not fast, but it's sort of working. So here we go. Now I'll show you the video.
And get out of here and show you guys her room. Rise and shine. Okay, we're gonna wake Stormy up and get out of here and show you guys her room. Rise and shine.
Okay, so that's got 15.1 million views. Okay, and she noticed that people were clipping out that little rise and shine. Okay. So that's the start of the story. Now we'll get rid of this. See, I got it working. Okay, so here's the start of the story. And, you know, the first step is do something that people like watching it. So she noticed that one. Second, control the narrative. You know, she got lots of goofy memes and stuff, and they spoofed the song, and other celebrities spoofed in response. And so she posted her favorite Rise and Shine parodies to her 28.9 million Twitter followers. And then, here comes, then she sold out her merchandise. This is the great part. She created fast. She created Rise and Shine hoodies over here. And Rise and shiny. Anyway, with her picture on it, and $65 a piece, and sold them out like crazy. Okay, and I was just impressed with how fast it all happened. Not that it's hard to put up something like, you know, build a hoodie, but now she's filed trademark protection for the Rise and Shine with that funny spelling, for cosmetics, belts, coats, dresses, footwear, gloves, headbands, jackets, scarves, sleepwear, swimsuits, and undergarments, among other items of clothing. Trademark might not be accepted, but man, that was great. Now let's see, how long did this take? I think it only took like 2 weeks for the whole bit to go. Kylie Jenner, Rise and Shine, viral TikTok, 1 billion views. Rise and Shine became the fastest hashtag to hit 1 billion. Wow. Okay, and so this is, you know, you say, well, these stars, they're just airheads and they don't deserve. You know what? They're marketers. They take advantage. How many of you could have taken advantage? I don't know if you heard the story. This is too funny. I don't have the news item, but Scott Adams tweeted it. But apparently, Joe Biden came out with a Todo los Biden or something, some Spanish slogan for the Latino demographic. But he didn't grab the URL before he announced it, and so the Trump campaign did. You know, you got to move fast around here, and that's why we do daily live streams, so you get the best news. But if you go to, you know, it's got to go to Scott Adams Says on Twitter and find that. And you got to move fast. You got to have your ducks in order. And there's some fast thinking people out here taking advantage, and it's really exciting to watch. So anyway, on that note, let's go over to last mile, the reality versus myth versus reality of last mile delivery. And this is by Dan. And Dan, I'm not sure if what Dan did was raise a lot of issues on why last mile is challenging. And there was another article today about Amazon having disappointing profits, and their delivery costs have gone up 26% in like the last 3 months or something. I mean, they're just really struggling. So I thought I'd go this direction and say, well, why is it so complicated? And here's why. Okay, he doesn't really explain it until he gets to some of the last stuff. Okay, most of the existing delivery ecosystem is disorganized and fragmented. Packages are not homogeneous. Okay, and the majority of couriers are independent, not scalable, with most of them running less than 6 vehicles. Okay, so it's sort of a coordination nightmare. And here's the real bottom line. To accommodate same-day parcel delivery, you have to combine proximity and best performance against best criteria of all needs, whether it's small parcel or large items, requires a 2-person delivery team, so something big and heavy. HIPAA licensing. Now that, it was really interesting when I got to this, because Dan says you have to take all this into account. No, you don't really have to. Walgreens announced their pilot program, I think it's in Virginia or North Carolina, and they said they're not going to deliver prescriptions. Okay? Because, how do you prove to a drone that you gave it to the right person, right? Take their ID. I mean, you could have a camera in the drone. It's not impossible, but it's tricky. TSA licensing for airport pickups, and you have to, your van gets scanned and stuff. You have to get a certification, and endless variations. And I always hate when someone ends a sentence with endless variations, because they're not endless. They're all finite. But what Walgreens did was they got rid of this. Okay, and you don't have to say I don't do that. Okay, let's keep it simple, and that's how you start. And over time, maybe you take on those other things. But I didn't think about all these things, so thank you for that, Dan. And the key to survival is a constant. He said some retailers are booming and some retailers are going under. But the key to survival is a constant reevaluation of business models. Okay, and I think there's some truth to that. So then I want to go over to customer journey. And this is one of my pet topics. Frida says, the once linear journey has evolved, I would say devolved, beyond the point of recognition. Well, was it ever really linear? And then she goes on to say that you can slice the journey, all kinds of geodemographics, but the methods of slicing are always linear. Well, not ours. We do nonlinear modeling. But she says 65% of millennials are saying that they're more influenced by positive, memorable experiences than traditional marketing. And by traditional marketing, mostly what I think we mean here is digital marketing, right? Because nobody's mailing, and millennials like mail. So it's another play for, let's get back out from behind the computer screen and send something to the house. Okay? Between here's the important point. Between online reviews, social media posts, good old-fashioned word of mouth, there's a high probability your target audience has already developed some preconceived thoughts about your brand, or not. And here's another big one. You want to just get it there. That is, and we're coming to that. People have all these jobs and interests, but the last mile article basically said, in addition to all your customer experience, in addition to all that, people are expecting. Now, what is the core to the customer? What the customer core experience is less about products and return policies and friendly clerks, and more about how retailers are able to get those products to the customer's front door quickly and inexpensively. So there's a hidden imperative in the customer journey, which is, now that you finally got me, where is it? Which I've always said. I said to catalogers, you want to make your customers happy, sell value and get it there. Ship good stuff fast. That's kind of the secret. And all this customer journey thing, yeah, it's great. I want it. That's it. Okay? Just want to say. And your customers, mostly, what I would say is, they're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about your brand. They're not loyal. And in that light, what sometimes is best to do is to ignore the I love you variable, to try to model the people that are so devoted to your brand or to Kylie Jenner, and think about who isn't devoted to your brand. Like old white guys like me don't follow Kylie Jenner. So let's not market to that in that direction. Let's market to people that do love you. Let's take advantage of the customers as a resource, and let's rule out places that don't make any sense. It's easier to rule out than it is to rule in. Much easier. Anyway, I'm John Miglosh. I want to get to Naviston, and I told Larry I would. A U.S. District Court judge ruled that they may be spying on people and are subject to eavesdropping laws, but that's not what they do. They take your IP address and match it to people like, you remember when you signed up for Netflix trial and you didn't see the little "don't send me any other offers"? You put in your address, and that maybe is how they got it. It wasn't by capturing your keystrokes. It was because you ship things to your house, and you order online, so your IP address and your address are connected by anybody you order from that ships something to you. And in many cases, if not all cases, that connection is not considered a big damaging thing or whatever, and you've already given permission in many cases for some free trial that you signed up for that you forgot about. So I'm not too worried about Naviston's case. I just think what this speaks to me, the concern I have is that these privacy laws, rather than protecting consumers' privacy, because if people are doing what this is alleging, then they're probably breaking some law, but the companies that do this, aren't based here, aren't easy to sue. They're not easy to find. So what it really does is it empowers frivolous lawsuits, and it gives consumers this idea that anything about them is private. There's some good question of what the right to privacy even is. What is privacy? I've told people for years, God sees what you're doing. Somebody sees what you're doing. Everything you do is in some sense out there. It affects the universe. It affects your family. It affects your neighbors. So behave yourself. Behave yourself, and occasionally you get some offers that are interesting, even if you didn't anticipate them, because you're stirring the pot by ordering things and by looking at things. And